Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our unboxings for Phyrexia. All will be one. And today we are unboxing the second Commander deck for this amazing expansion. Now we've really had a lot of fun opening up the last one. It was really interesting to see how mean and lean that machine is. Haha. So yeah, we're pretty excited about opening this one. Although my favorite is still going to be the Infect deck. But the Rebellion Rising might be interesting. I think it's going to have to do with a lot of tokens and equipment because that's the theme of red and white on this set. So yeah, Scotty and I today, thank you Scotty, will be unboxing for you this wonderful product. And just like before, we're going to give you a look at the box. Kind of a bit of the fluff on the back. As usual, these products, they have 100 cards in the deck themselves, including the Commander. And then they have a display Commander. You'll get a little deck box, but it won't fit anything if you put some sleeves on the cards. You'll get 10 double-sided tokens, a little life wheel, some little fluff of strategy, and about the lore and the deck itself, and then the usual how to play the game kind of stuff. Let's see what this beautiful deck has in store for us. Now, just like before, we'll go through the Commander's abilities. So the Commander for the Rebellion Rising is Neyali, Sun's Vanguard. It's a 3/3 creature, legendary, with 2 generic and 1 red and 1 white. And it has attacking tokens you control have double strike. That's very good. And whenever 1 or more tokens you control attack a player, exile the top card of your library. During any turn you attack with a token, you may play that card. So you can basically play another card each turn, every time you attack. So with a token, of course. That sounds not bad. We'll see how it is. Also, remember you get the sample of the collector's boosters in here. So we will be unboxing that last, but here we go. So there was a little bit of floof, like lore fluff at the bottom here. So let's see if there's still going to be some this time around. Okay, that's funny. Does a Phoenix need multiple life insurance policies? I like that. I like the little kind of lore fluff behind it. That's really cool. All right, so we pulled out this, and as usual, you get the counters. These are white, unlike the poison counters from the previous unboxing. They still have this translucent foiling to it. There's a charge counter, and yeah, that's about it. There's nothing else there. And then you get the box itself. So let's unbox the box proper. And voila. So inside, also really tucked away, is the sample. Again, in the sample, you'll find 3 cards. One is going to be a token, and one is going to be an Icor, either extended art or non-extended art, and then an extended art borderless card. That could be yet another Icor card. These are the contents of the box proper. So you get spin down life wheel, which is always appreciated. And it comes with 40 life. So that's pretty nice, especially if you don't have any way to keep track or any dice yet. You get a little bit of a fluff, as we said before. So Rebellion Rising, this will give you an idea of the deck itself. Playing the deck, Neyali leads the Mirren Resistance to take back the plane that Phyrexia stole. Assemble a wide army of creature tokens and arm them with the finest weapons that Mirrens have to offer. This deck offers a strategic and potent game plan to master, combat, and attack your opponents with your token Rebellion. So that's that. And if you want to look and pause a little bit more on the remainder, and then you get a bit of fluff about Neyali herself, which is very nice. And there you go. I'll put this aside. So as we said, sample booster pack will open at the end. And here you'll find the tokens and the display commander, which is the thicker version of the main commander. And it has the reverse foil, or kind of like a negative photograph kind of vibe. So it's pretty cool that they give you that. And let's go. Let's see what tokens we get here. So this is the, let me put it in focus. This is the Comander proper. Yeah. And then we get the Monarch. Oh, there's a Monarch in play. Okay, that's I think this was brought in with Conspiracy and Conspiracy to Take the Crown, the idea of the Monarch. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes a Monarch. That's not bad. And then a Golem. Haste. Kobolds of the Care Keep. That's a cute animation. And then, oh, dragons. Here be dragons. Mirror, of course. And Thopters. Soldier. And Eldrazi. Oh, we also get a 10/10 Eldrazi token. That's insane. Of course, you have the Rebels for Mirrodin as an ability for this set. That's gonna create 2/2 Rebels. Goblin. That's creepy. A birdie bird, because the bird is the word. And the cat. The very, very creepy cat token from this set. Oh, the human from Throne of Eldraine. That same token. Spirit. Human soldier. Elephant. Wow, that's a beautiful soldier token. Wow, that's gorgeous. That is just beautiful. And angel. Soldier. And angel again. All right, so that's going to be interesting. You get a lot of angels and soldier tokens. So let's see. I still prefer the other deck conceptually, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's see the contents of. Oh no, I just realized. I don't know if you can see here. I'll see if I can zoom in for you. Can you see that? That's a damage card right there. That's unfortunate, but hey yo, it happens. Unfortunately, it can happen. Unfortunately. Okie doke. So the first card is going to be Clever Concealment. It's an instant with 2 generic and 2 white. You convoke this. Your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays 1 generic mana of that creature's color to cast this. So basically, you can cost 2 white and 2 tap creatures. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. Okay, so this is a decent save everything that I've got on the board. Then we have Glimmer Lens, which is an equipment for Mirrodin. It's a 1 generic and 1 white artifact equipment. And for Mirrodin means that when this comes into play, you create a 2/2 red rebel token creature and attach this to it right away. And whenever equip creature and at least 1 other creature attack, draw a card. So you have a little bit of draw engine and you can equip it for its cost. Kemba's Banner is an artifact equipment for 3 generic and 1 white for Mirrodin. And equip creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. Okay. And you can equip it for 2 generic and 1 white. That's not bad. Staff of the Storyteller. We saw this in our unboxings. As a 1 generic, 1 white artifact, when Staff of the Storyteller enters the battlefield, create a 1 white spirit creature token with flying. Whenever you create 1 or more creature tokens, put a story counter on Staff of the Storyteller. You tap, discard, and 1 white. Remove a story counter from Staff of the Storyteller and draw a card. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, creates 1/1 tokens with flying, and flying is always decent no matter what format you're playing. And yeah, it allows you to constantly draw cards. So yeah, you can. I don't know if you can proliferate in this deck to help get this quicker onto like many tokens. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, Gold Warden's Gambit. It's a sorcery, red for 6 generic and 2 red. It has affinity for equipment, so it costs 1 less to cast for each equipment you control. Create 5/2 red rebel creature tokens. They gain haste until the end of the turn. For each of these tokens, you may attach an equipment you control to it. It's not bad. Hexplate Wallbreaker is an equipment artifact with for Meridian for 3 generic and 2 red. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, and whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Wow, that's not bad. That's really, really good. That is really nice because it doesn't only affect the creature that you've equipped. It affects all the other creatures, and you can attack again with them. So that's really nice. And then you can equip it for 3 generic and 1 red. Wow, that's strong. Okay, Roar of Resistance, which is the image of the back of the box. It's an enchantment for 1 generic and 1 red. Creatures tokens you control have haste. And whenever one or more creatures attack, you may pay the cost of Roar's Resistance. If you do, creatures attacking your opponents and or planeswalkers they control, they get +2/+0 until the end of the turn. Yeah, not bad. Again, some equipment and some ways to quickly deal a lot of damage to your opponents, and some way to save your opponents. Only one so far to save your from your opponent's board wipe, because again the poison has quite a few board wipes overall. And then this is a Volshock Factory for 2 generic and 1 red as an artifact. And you tap to add 1 red and put a charge counter on this artifact, and then tap 2 generic and 1 red, tap this card, and you create an XX colorless golem artifact creature token with haste, where X is the number of charge counters on Volshock Factory, activate only as a sorcery. Still, very decent card, very good card. It can build up really quickly in tokens. So this is a token machine for sure. Now call the Copper Coats as an instant white for 2 generic and 1 white. It has Strive. So this spell costs 1 generic and 1 white more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target opponents. You create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. Wow, that's good. That's good if you're playing against 4 people and you find against like maybe 1 or 2 players have another token deck or a weenie deck. Wow, this is gonna create a lot of tokens. It's gonna make you go wide real quick. Collective Effort as a sorcery, 1 generic and 2 white. It has Escalate, tap and untap creature you control. Pay this cost for each mode chosen beyond the first. Okay, choose 1 or more, and of course you're going to have a lot of tokens to be able to pay this cost without problems. Choose 1 or more, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, or destroy target enchantment, and or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Wow, so buff, destroy enchantment, destroy target creature power 4. So that's really, really good. So you have some ways to interact with the opponent's board as well. Court of Grace is 2 generic and 2 white enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the Monarch, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead. So this comes into play with. So that was the Monarch ability. Now we have Elspeth Durrell, 3 generic, 2 white. It's a planeswalker with 4 loyalty, and it's a legendary planeswalker. With +2, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. Wow, this can be good, really quickly. With -2, you create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. And with -5, destroy all other permanents except for lands and tokens. Oh, wow. This is another very good card in this deck. Very, very good. Very, very good. So that's another board wipe in a way. Emeria Angel is a white creature with 2 generic and 2 white. It's a 3/3 with flying. Has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may create a 1/1 bird creature, white bird creature with flying token. Not bad. It's another token generator. Felder Retreat for 3 generic and 1 white. It's an enchantment with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, you can choose one. Either you create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until the end of the turn. Holy moly, that's bad. I mean, it's good, but it's bad for your opponents. Also, I don't remember that there isn't a lot of enchantment hate in the other deck. I mean, there's one board wipe to destroy all enchantments, so you choose that option. But yeah, it's you're gonna need the enchantment hate against this deck for sure, and artifact hate. Finale of Glory, yes, it makes a comeback here for X and 2 white. It's a sorcery. You create X 2/2 white soldier creature tokens with vigilance. If X is 10 or more, also create X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance. So this is the War of the Spar Finale, the white one. This is really good for generating tokens, especially in such a deck. Flawless Maneuver, 2 generic and 1 white. It's an instant. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Wow. Creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of the turn. Wow, that's awesome. Ha! The Harmonious Archon from Throne of Eldraine. It's a white creature, 4/4 generic and 2 white. It's a 4/5 with flying. And non-Archon creatures have base power and toughness 3/3. And when Harmonious Archon enters the battlefield, you create 2/1/1 white human creature tokens. So it's not bad, but you can buff up small creatures on the opposite side as well. So you got to be careful what your opponents are playing if you're using this card. Hour of Reckoning, as a sorcery with Convoke, it costs 4 generic and 3 white. And of course, you convoke, you tap a creature to help you pay the generic costs, and it allows you to destroy all non-token creatures. So that's really good. This is the token board wipe. Increasing Devotion, sorcery for 3 generic and 2 white, and create 5/1/1 white human creature tokens. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, create 10 of those tokens instead. And this has flashback for 7 generic and 2 white. So that's nice. You can cast it twice. Okay, Mace of the Valiant is an equipment for 2 generic and 1 white. It's an artifact. An equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Mace of the Valiant and has vigilance. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield in control, for a charge counter on Mace of the Valiant, you equip for 3. Not bad. So you have a lot of ways to make tokens, of course, and a lot of ways to equip those tokens and make them strong really quickly. Board wipes are going to be the thing that annoys a deck like this. So you do have some interaction. I've seen 2 so far to allow you to make either your creatures indestructible or to phase them out. So this is going to be a good thing to have in this kind of deck. So you'll want more just to protect them. Let's see, Martial Coup is the next. It's a sorcery. It's X generic and 2 white. Create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. Yes, this is also good because it keeps board wiping other creatures. Maul of the Skycleaves. This is yet another reprint for 2 generic and 1 white. It's an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. A quick creature gets +2/+2 flying and first strike. And you can equip it for 4 for 2 generic and 2 white. This is a very good equipment. Mentor of the Meek. It's a creature 2/2 for 2 generic and 1 white. It's a human soldier. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 generic. If you do, you draw a card. So this allows you to make your little tokens a draw engine so long as you pay 1 per each, which is not bad. Pay 1, draw a card is really, really good. Silvering Squadron. This is a creature, human knight with flying and vigilance. It costs 5 generic and 1 white. It has star, has power and toughness. Now, it says that Silverwing Squadron's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. When it attacks, create a number of 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance equal to the number of opponents you have. So it's a token generator and it gets buffed by tokens. That's really, really good. White Sun's Zenith. This is the initial Zenith, because now is the sun's twilight, depending on the colors, but Zeniths were the initial iteration of that kind of card. So this is an instant for X generic and 3 white. You create X 2/2 white cut creature tokens. You shuffle the Zenith into its owner's library. That's how the Zeniths used to work. You just shuffle them back in. Chain Reaction, 2 generic and 2 red. Sorcery, it deals X damage to each creature, where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. That's not bad. I mean, it's a board wipe, but, you know, if you have a way to protect yours at the same time, it can be a really good board wipe. Oh, of course, Dragon Master Outcast. This is a reprint. It's a very good card. It's a 1/1 for 1 red. It's a creature, human shaman. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 more lands, you create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. So it just spams dragons. So this is a good card. Usually you'll find them in Commander decks with dragons, such as your dragon Commander. Oh, Legion Warboss, a Goblin staple. 2 generic and 1 red. 2/2 mentor. Whenever this creature attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on attack a creature attacking with less power. And at the beginning of a combat, on your turn, you create a 1 white red goblin creature token. That token gets haste until the end of the turn and attacks this Cenobites if able. So that's awesome. So yeah, of course. So this is another way to generate into red tokens, because so far we've seen equipment generating, enchantment generating, sorcery generating, and white creatures generating, but the red creatures tend to be goblins most of the time. So Siege Gang Commander, this is another classic. It's a 2/2 goblin for 3 generic and 2 red. When it enters the battlefield, you create 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. You tap 1 generic, 1 red, and sacrifice a goblin to deal 2 damage to any target. Adriana, the Captain of the Guard. This is a multicolor spell. It's a 4/4 legendary creature for 3 generic, 1 red, and 1 white. Has melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn for each opponent you attack this combat. Other creatures you control have melee. Not bad at all. Easily buff up things if you target more than one opponent when attacking. Assemble the Legion is 3 generic, 1 red, 1 white. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion, then create a 1/1 red, white creature soldier token with haste for each muster counter on Assemble Legion. This is like a Bitter Blossom, but you know, for generic. It's not bad. I mean, it's kind of expensive to cast compared to Bitter Blossom. All right, Jorkadeen, the Prevailer. This is a legendary creature it's a 5/4, 3 generic, 1 red, 1 white. First strike, Metalcraft. Creatures you control get +3/+0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. That's really, really nice. And it has also first strike. Yeah, this is a very good card. Metalcraft, that's nice. And Idol of Oblivion. This is an artifact for 2 generic. You tap it to draw a card. Activate only if you create a token this turn. And then with 8 generic, and you tap it, sacrifice Idol of Oblivion to create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. I think this, if I'm not mistaken, was in the Mishra deck for Brothers War as well, but I'm not sure. Oh, Luxodon Warhammer. This is, I think it's Darksteel or Mirrodin. I think it's Mirrodin, but I'm not sure. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has trample and lifelink. You equip it for 3 generic, and it's a 3 generic equipment artifact. Very, very simple, but very, very good. Mirror Battlesphere. Now, this is a beautiful classic. Mirror Battlesphere. It's a 4/7 creature for 7 generic, and it's a Mirror Construct artifact creature, and when it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token, and then when it attacks, you may tap X untap mirror you control. If you do, it gets +X/+0 until the end of the turn and deals X damage to target player or a planeswalker is attacking. It's a great card. It's just great overall. I'm happy to see it. And of course, the Solemn Simulacrum. This has been everywhere in most of the decks. Now, We move on here. We have Castle Ardenvale again. Throne of Eldraine Classic. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a plains. You tap it to add up plains, and then for 2 generic and 2 white, you tap it to create a 1/1 white human token. Castle Embereth, again, enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Tap it for a mountain, and you tap 1 generic and 2 red, and tap this. Creatures you control, get +1/+0 until the end of the turn. Very good pairing of the two. Exotic Order. Furicomb Snarl. Yeah, Fair Keep. This is a legendary land. You tap it to add 1 generic. You tap 1 generic and 1 red. Tap, you create a 0/1 red kobold creature token named Kobolds of the Care Keep. This is the token that we saw before. I haven't seen this card in a long time. I think. Slayer Stronghold. It's a land. You tap it for 1 generic, and then you tap 1 red, 1 white. You tap it, target creature gets +2/+0 and gets vigilance and haste until the end of the turn. Temple of Triumph, of course, the temples were part of the other deck as well, the poison deck, so it makes sense. Windbrisk Heights. It's a land with Hideaway 4. When this land enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 of them face down, then put the rest at the bottom in a random order. When it enters the battlefield, tapped. You can tap and add 1 white, and then for 1 white and tap it, you may play the exile card without paying its mana cost if you attack with 3 or more creatures this turn. This can be really, really good if you get something really, really nasty. On the back, Battle Screech, of course. This is has been recently reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. I think it was a Judgment initial print, and it's a sorcery for 2 generic and 2 white. You create 2 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying, and you can flashback it by tapping 3 untap white creatures you control. Cut a Deal is a 2 generic and 1 white sorcery. Each opponent draws a card, and then you draw a card for each opponent who draw a card this way. Not bad. If you have 4 opponents, or 3, or however many, you can easily get a lot of cards. Generous Gift. This was in Modern Horizons 1. 2 generic and 1 white. It's an instant. You destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Not bad. You can use it on yourself, or if you don't need the permanent for whatever reason, or you can use it on one of your opponent's strong creatures. Golden Knight Commander. It's a 2/2 white creature that comes in play with 3 generic and 1 white. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield in control, creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. Not bad. Intangible Virtue. I love the art on this one. It's an enchantment. Creatures token you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. Midnight Haunting. Of course, this is a 2 generic and 1 white. It's an instant. You create 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Path to Exile. Of course, it is a classic. Phantom General. So it's a 2/3 creature for 3 generic and 1 white. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Prava, the Steel Legion. Now, this is a 1/4 creature. Legendary for 2 generic and 1 white. As long as it's your turn, tokens you control get +1/+4. For 3 generic and 1 white, you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. It has partner. You can have 2 commanders if both have partner. I don't think any of the commanders have partner, but still. Mirage, sorcery for 3 generic and 1 red. Choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those tokens get haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. Not bad. You just get some really big minis to play against the same owners. Hey, that's nice. Hordeling Outburst is a sorcery, 1 generic and 2 red. You create 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Yeah, honestly, the pile of tokens should have been like that big. Because you're gonna be generating so many tokens. Make sure you have dice, because then otherwise this is gonna get out of hand real quick. Loyal Apprentice is a 2/1 creature, human artificer, with 1 generic and 1 red. It has haste and a lieutenant. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, if you control your commander, you create a 1/1 colorless stop their artifact creature token with flying. The token gets haste until the end of the turn. Not bad. Flying that can be buffed up with all the other things you got. They're really good. Boros Charm, 1 red, 1 white. Choose 1. It's an instant. It deals either 4 damage to target player or planeswalker, or permanency control gain indestructible to the end of the turn. Another good one. Target creature gains double strike until the end of the turn. Another very good one. Heroic Reinforcements. It's a 2 generic, 1 red, 1 white. It's a sorcery. You create 2 1 white soldier creature tokens until the end of the turn. Creatures you don't control get +1/+1 and gain haste. Very nice. It's really good. Repapart, of course, this is a classic. Arcane Signet, another classic. Boros Signet, yes, this is another way to land fix yourself. Commander Sphere, another classic. Fellwar Stone, so these are very similar to the other deck. Oh, Mask of Memory. Again, Mirrodin block. I don't remember if it was Darksteel or Mirrodin itself. For 2 generic, it's an artifact equipment. And whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. Equip for 1. Not bad. Mindstone, yet another classic. Soul Ring, of course. Soul Guide Lantern, a good classic for Graveyard Hate. Talisman and Conviction. The talismans were introduced, I think, in Modern Horizons. Or these ones specifically, then it's not bad. Boros Garrison as the land, yes. Buried Ruin, tap to add 1 generic, and tap 2 and tap the land to sacrifice it and return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Not bad, but, you know, I mean, it's not bad for some of the equipment you get here. That's for sure. At least you have one way to get them back. Command Tower, tap to add 1 mana of any color of your commander's identity. It's a classic. Forgotten Cave, also another classic. Mirror Landscape, yep. Path of Ancestry, yes. Secluded Step, another classic. Temple of the False God, wow, I haven't seen this one in a while. You tap to add 2 generic, activate only if you control 5 or more lands. It's a classic as well. And then we get Mountains, and then we get Plains, and these are from the Phyrexia All Will Be One expansion. So yeah, you can also get them in here, and then you get the little card to explain the formats and returns, and then you get your actual commander card. Very beautiful. And since these are printed in Belgium, you don't have them bent like a Pringle. Or the second possible commander, Othari Sun's Glory. It's a 3/3 legendary creature Phoenix for 3 generic and 1 red and 1 white. Has flying, lifelink, and haste. And it states that whenever this creature attacks, you gain an experience counter. Then create a 2/2 red rebel creature token that's tapped and attacking for each experience counter you have. Now for 2 generic and 1 red and 1 white, you tap and untap rebel you control, and you return this creature from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped because it's a Phoenix. Very beautiful card. Very beautiful. Look at the foiling in that. It's so gorgeous. Anyway, this is really nice. And yeah, what do I think of the deck so far? This has been interesting. You have a lot of ways to deal with board wipes. You have some ways to board wipe yourself. You have a lot of ways to generate tokens and to buff them up really quickly. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to play around if you were to play against the poison deck, it's really going to play around how many board wipes does the opponent have, and if you have an answer to it, because otherwise I'm gonna go wide real quick, and you can build your creatures up much quicker usually than a deck like the poison one has ability to do so. But it looks interesting. Can't wait to play them, pit them against each other. I'm gonna go for the infection/poison deck because it's the thing that attracts me the most, but I think this is a pretty decent well-built deck as well. So that's our thoughts. Now we're off to unbox or unwrap this collector's booster sample pack. Now I don't expect anything super amazing to be here, but again, you can get some decent extended art or some decent iCore cards. So I mean, there's always the chance of getting a Snorn in here as well, so why not? Okay, we'll flip it around. Wow! Well, there you go. I stand corrected. Vraska, the Betrayal Sting, because you can get an extended art here as well. So, yeah, this is one of the ones that we were missing. NSNE manga. Wow, this is so cool. I really was hoping to get this one as well because the illustration is just insane. And yeah, Vraska Betrayal Sting is a legendary planeswalker, and it costs 4 generic, 1 black, and 1 Phyrexian black. It's a completed planeswalker. It has 6 loyalty counters, and for 0, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. You can proliferate. Then for -2, target creature becomes a treasure artifact with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color, and loses all other card types abilities. So this is a good interaction against anything that's really, really huge and you need to get rid of real quick. Kind of like Oko. And then for -9, if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number of poison counters equals to the difference. This is a really, really beautiful card. And then you get the Risevine Cultivator Icor foil. That was not expected. I am really happy with this card. Up close, how beautiful it looks. That is really, really nice. Okay, so that's it from us. We thank you very much as usual for sticking around and joining us in our unboxings. Scotty and I have had a lovely time with this expansion so far. We will try and unbox the complete edition bundle as well whenever they release, and if we can get our hands on them. And yeah, so far this has been a grand experience for us. We hope you enjoyed it with us. We wish you a lovely day, a blessed day. Be good, be kind, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!